Isaiah?
You said at Big Ten Media Days that one of the things you really wanted to address in fall camp was the interior defensive line. How does that look so far?
That's look good. Interiorly, I'll start with Carlo Kemp, who's really been outstanding. He's really elevated his game as he has done throughout his career. He started as an outside linebacker, was moved to defensive end, 3 technique, nose. He is playing at a very high level right now. Also, Donovan Jeter playing at a very high level, consistently good, which has been really encouraging. I thought Donovan had a really good spring and then has come back through the summer training cycle and also through our first week and a half of camp and done a very good job. Ben Mason's added real good depth in there as well.
Chris?
You talk about the right tackle spot, Jim, and how that's playing out.
Yeah, still two to be determined. Jalen Mayfield, Andrew Stuber, both in there battling. Both want the job. Both are playing extremely hard, studying hard, and that rages on.
John?
Coach, you talked in your podcast about how high a level the practices have been so far. What kinds of things do you see that get you excited about it, that push you to that conclusion?
Well, as the first thing that I've noticed is just what a tremendous job that our players did over the summer. And our strength staff, Ben Herbert and Tank and Rowe and Jay Tress, and they've done an incredible job. Locke, all the guys has set the table for where we are right now, where we were when we started camp, and also just the consistency and the condition and the strength of our team right now.
Ryan?
Is this the best offensive line you've had here in Michigan?
It has a chance to be. Yeah, there's veteran players there that are highly motivated and really well coached.
In the back, Doug?
Could you give us an update on the running back position, how it's coming along?
Yeah, sure. True Wilson has been steady, has been really good. Talked in the spring how he really elevated his speed. That was noticeable coming off of the winter training cycle, and he had it all spring. He had a great summer as well. You could see the same. The speed was very much there all through our first week and a half of training camp. Also, Christian Turner has done a very, very nice job. Zach Charbonnet coming on like a freight train. He is really, really playing well, sees holes, can run, got a real knack catching the football and understanding and learning the game as well. Ben Van Sumeren continues to be very, very impressive. Hassan Haskins had a really great day today. Today, last couple practices at running back, really stood out. So that's been good. Another guy to mention is Nick Capitina, who really was a star this spring for us. And then you see, well, what's it going to be like in training camp? And he has picked up where he left off in the spring, and he's doing a heck of a good job. 3 young guys, Danny Hughes, Jordan Castleberry, and Leon Franklin have all been in the mix too in the 110 and doing a nice job at the running back position. So we're feeling really good about the running back position.
On the left next.
So Jim, before camp you talked a lot about how excited you were with Jay and Dylan both. You're going to let them both kind of have it out. Are you still in the mode of, you think that might play them both, or do you know more about what you'll do there?
Still deciding. All options are open. They both are playing extremely well. Shea has strung some, probably I'd say 5 great practices together, consistently. Dylan as well, playing extremely well. So Joe Milton getting a lot of reps, and you can see all that he has in his toolbox. So those 3 have really been doing a great job. Also, Cade McNamara's been looks older than a freshman. He was a mid-year and got the good work in the spring, so he's had a good camp too.
Back left.
What are you most looking forward to this season?
I'm looking forward to it. I'm thinking about the special teams meeting tonight and tomorrow's off day meetings with the players. I'm happy. You know, there was a time where you didn't have off days in football. You didn't have, there's more than one practice, as you all know. But rules now are there's an off day once a week, and it's mandated. It used to be in the past that when you got an off day, you really earned it. You know, the coach said, "Guys, you've been practicing well. We're gonna give you an off day tomorrow," and that's how I feel. Our guys earned this. They earned this, even though it's mandated to have an off day tomorrow. They know they have an off day tomorrow. They have still earned that off day tomorrow.
On the right, Ojo.
Jim, with Shea and also Dylan, their grasp of the new offense, have you seen that pick up even more? And how does it fit their particular abilities, do you think, the offense?
I think most suit them in their abilities. I think both are really effective from the shotgun. They're effective having the field spread a little bit more, and I think they both thrive in that up-tempo system.
Larry.
On defense, among the players that didn't start last year, what players have jumped out at you so far in camp?
Players that didn't start last year jumped out. Vince Gray at the corner position. Brad Hawkins is doing so much for us right now as a safety, as a nickel back, and also on special teams. Mentioned Donovan Jeter. Quiddy Pay did start some games. He's been outstanding. Talked about Carlo. Linebackers are, very, very competitive in the linebacker position. Josh Ross has done real well. So has Cam McGrone. He's come on like gangbusters. Jordan Glasgow in the mix to start. Devin Gill and Anthony. Jordan Anthony's also done a real good job in there. Uche has cemented himself in a starting position. Mike Barrett's is in the mix, both as a Sam and as a Viper. Levert's having a good camp. Levert's doing well. He didn't practice in the spring, but he's having a heck of a good camp. Another corner, DJ Turner's another corner to mention. He's having a very good camp, true freshman. So a lot of guys. Jamerick Woods doing really well. Dax Hill is in the mix as well, both on special teams and at the safety position. So I think that's a Taylor Upshaw, somebody that's been impressing early in camp. Michael Dana, who wasn't here last year as a starter, is in the rotation. Good guy, good young guy that's playing extremely well. Freshman Chris Hinton has asserted himself. Probably right in the two deep right now. Probably backing up. So Mozzie Smith as well, another who didn't start last year. So much good. I mean, talked about it being a young team, talked about it being an enthusiastic team, but it's also a team with a lot of experience on defense as well.
What's Ambry's status?
Ambry is he's not practicing right now. He's not in the 110. He was diagnosed with colitis, and he has lost quite a bit of weight. He's gained that weight back, and if there isn't setbacks, then there'll be milestones that he'll be able to achieve. With no timeline on that, it's right now where he can be here. He can come to meetings. He could do conditioning with and get treatment, and then we'll find out where he is from a conditioning standpoint and how much football he can do over the next week to 10 days. When it's determined what he can do, then that's what he'll do, and then we'll monitor for setbacks. Next milestone after that will be able to run at full speed and have conditioning and strength. Next milestone will be to start playing football without contact. Again, always monitoring to see if there's setbacks. And after that, then he'll be cleared to participate in contact. So those are the milestones that he has to achieve without a timetable.
Aaron, any question?
Jim, you've had now a whole spring and summer to kind of digest the offense Josh Gaddis has brought in. What do you like about it, and where have you guys seen the most improvement, most strides the last few months?
I like a lot of things about it. I mean, I like, as I said, I think it really fits our quarterbacks. I think it gives the receivers an opportunity to be in space. We have some good wide receivers, some really good tight ends as well. Also allows us to have a physical running game. It's an attacking type of offense that really, I like seeing the ball thrown downfield, and our quarterbacks have done a really good job of getting the ball to the playmakers. So a lot of things I like about it.
Justin?
Any team slogans or mottos that you're seeing emerge from camp, from player-led stuff or yourself?
Tend to see those al natural as your team develops, but still in the early process of that.
Nick?
Jim, when you talked to you in spring, you were pretty excited about this team. I mean, you were as excited as you've been in spring about a team. Do you still feel that way halfway through camp here? Do you still feel like are you on that kind of cloud, I suppose, of really excited about where you're going?
We're just in the process of being here, working on football on a daily basis. Doing the work. I mean, nowhere I'd rather be. Enjoying it.
Austin?
Jim, given what you said about Ambry, how do you feel about the depth in the secondary and at corner? Is there a concern level there at all?
As I said, Vince Gray is doing a heck of a job. DJ Turner, Jalen Kelly-Powell doing really well. Jamon Green is trying to find out how good he is. He's got a lot of potential and a lot of ability, and developing that belief in himself, and just keep working and not worrying. I mean, I really truly believe he's gonna be a fine football player as well. Jalen Perry's another guy that's doing well at the corner position, freshman. So we got good players there.
Got time for a couple more questions. Coach got you to a meeting.
Coach, what have you seen from the receivers in the early going?
It's been good. Ronnie Bell has been a stalwart all camp, as he was during spring ball. Tariq's been back. He's practiced. Donovan has practiced. Nico has practiced. Mike Sanders still is continuing to develop, and also Cornelius Johnson. CJ has done a great job. He's rocketing up the depth chart as well. Those guys in particular, those six, have really stood out.
Doug?
I was going to ask you about Sam Bristol and Giles Jackson. I don't know if you have anything to add on Sam Bristol, but how's Giles Jackson's campaign?
Been good. There's some guys that can really run in this freshman class. Giles is definitely one of them. He's fast, and he's been real good. I put him in that position where continues to grow. He'll get playing time this year.
Ryan?
Gary said last week that the tight ends Nick Eubanks and Sean McCune have the potential to be the best tight end duo in the country. Where do you see the tight ends fitting into this offense?
Good, really good. Sean is more and more. I mean, each season, he becomes more the complete player. Nick Eubanks is also he's so athletic and can run so well, and he's also really big and strong, and he's really dedicated himself to being the best blocker. That just trying to be the best. Trying to get great at football and do both of those things. And he has really done a good job. Sharon Moore is a heck of heck of a coach. Also, Mustafa Muhammad has been playing, competing. I mean, he's finding his way pretty darn good, and so is Luke Schoonmaker. So that group is doing well. Eric All is really good and having a heck of a camp.
Last question, usually.
Jim, I was wondering if you saw Luke Fickell's comments today about James Hunt.
I did.
What your reaction was?
Well, and I read Luke Fickell's comments, and unless I'm reading them wrong or mistaking them, I believe he's under the impression that these waivers are decided coach to coach in some kind of deal fashion, and that is not the understanding that I'm under. I'm under the understanding that the NCAA decides these waivers, and unless he has something that he can bring forth and share and enlighten us and the entire football world, I would really like to know what that is, because he called me in March and asked me about, specifically, he wanted to know about the position switch that James was switched from defensive line to offensive line. And I told him, I said, yeah, I mean, after 2 weeks of practice watching James at defensive line, I personally, not other coaches, I went up to him and said, James, I think you got the body type to be really good offensive tackle. We don't mandate what positions players play at the University of Michigan. You can compete at whatever position that you want. Do you want to try it out? He did. Turned out that he was really good at that offensive line position, and that's what I told Coach Fickell, exactly the way it happened when I talked to James on the field that day. And then Coach Fickell tried to coach me on how to say it different. and I told him, Coach, I mean, I believe in telling the truth, forthright, honest. What I told James, what I tell you, what I tell compliance is going to be the truth. As I said, I read the article. He asked the question in the article, what's most important? Your personal beliefs or what's in the best interest of the kid? And I can answer that. What's most important is the truth. And when he says if he's questioning what my personal beliefs are, then that's what I believe in. I believe in being forthright, honest, and telling the truth. I'm astounded that he's gotten to where he's at by not knowing the answer to that question. Because I go back to, he keeps trying to make it about that it's Michigan has blocked the transfer waiver, or Michigan has somehow decided not to grant this waiver. And that's, again, not how this process works in my understanding. As it related to the waiver, I didn't write the waiver. Our compliance asked me one question. They asked me the question of, tell us about how did the process happen with James switching from defensive line to offensive line. The same thing I told you just now, I told James on the field that day, and I told Coach Fickell. That's the only part that I've been asked to, talk about by our compliance department. And whoever I deal with, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to tell the truth. So if he's asking what my personal beliefs are in a different way, that's well documented. My personal beliefs on this are that a football player should have the right that they've never had, which is that they should be able to choose what school they attend and where they play football, and have the one-time ability to transfer schools. That's how I personally feel about this issue. That's well documented, and I do believe that's in the best interest of the young men who play football and play any other sport in college. that it's their decision to make and their family's decision to make. But that's really what I have to say about that.
Get him moving to a meeting.
I'm just curious, what did Fickle want you to say? What was his version that he wanted you to abide by?
As I said, he tried to coach me into saying it differently, not saying it that way. And I said, and I told him, I'm not going to lie. That I can tell you. I'm going to tell the truth. So that's, yeah. Didn't like the version that I was given.
All right. Thank you.
That's important. Anything?
Yeah, did you have something else on that?
No.
Have you spoken with Fickle since this all unfolded?
No. That was the one time that he called in March, and I even told him in March. I said, Coach, my understanding of this is, you seem to think that there's something that this is some kind of coach to coach. We're going to work a deal here, and that's not my understanding of how this process works. It didn't work that way when Shea Patterson was transferring from Ole Miss to the University of Michigan. I mean, I was told I wouldn't have any involvement in it. That would be the two compliance departments would talk. The NCAA would decide the eligibility of Shea Patterson. You asked me on several occasions, what do you know about Shea Patterson? I don't know anything. I'm not involved in it. You can go back and look at your notes. I wasn't involved in it, didn't talk to his lawyer, didn't talk to his family. I said, whatever the NCAA decides will be what happens. We like Shea being here, whether he's eligible immediately or whether he has to sit a year in residence.
So where is this coming from that, there's the story, and I think the UC, maybe it's Fickle saying that Michigan blocked this. I mean, where is that coming from? Michigan didn't.
Coming from Luke Fickle. He's erroneous.
But Michigan did not block.
Michigan did not block the waiver. No, did not stand in it. We wish James Hudson well, but that is not in the coach's hands. It's not in the university's hands. It's not in his hands. It's the way the process works right now. Those waivers are decided by the NCAA.